Welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how you can get leverage in a decentralized fashion using a money market. So this is part 2 of a 3 or 4 part series that I'll be doing, talking about how to get leverage long different tokens in a decentralized fashion. So part 1 was talking about leveraged yield farming and how you can structure a leveraged yield farm in order to go long a token. So part 2 today is using money markets in order to go long tokens. So why would you want to do this? I mean, it's not super efficient the way that you're doing this. However, it does open up some more tokens that you can actually go ahead and go leveraged long. So for example, Mercurial Finance and Saber, those aren't two tokens really that you can go ahead and leverage on a centralized exchange. And if you are able to go leverage long these two tokens on a centralized exchange, then it's likely that you're in a restricted jurisdiction, so they aren't able to provide those services for you. So a lot of people also like the fact that you're able to get leverage long different tokens in a decentralized fashion, maybe because they don't like using centralized exchanges, or maybe they just like using DeFi. So that's why you might consider using this. And due to the fact that there are a lot of DeFi tokens out there that you can only go leverage long using money markets. And you can use any money market on Solana or indeed on any other blockchain out there. This is merely just a proof of concept video. So this method has been known for a while, but it's not super intuitive when you think about using money markets in this way. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to go long Marinade Stake Sol. I'm using MSOL as this example here, but you can literally use any of the tokens listed here that you can deposit and then borrow stable coins against. So like Saber, Mercurial Finance, Serum, Bitcoin, ETH, and of course Solana. So what you would do is we'll go to supply. You would deposit collateral here and then borrow stablecoins against it, and then you would convert those stablecoins back into MSOL and then redeposit it back into Port Finance. So let me just walk you through all of the figures involved in this so you can understand it a little bit better, and I'll be using example scenarios as well. So we're back to this board. Ignore everything down here, just focus on where my browser is. So let's just say you have $100 worth of MSOL and you're bullish MSOL, so you want to get leveraged exposure to it. So you deposit that MSOL into Port Finance or indeed any other money market, and then you would borrow 50 USDC against it. So it has to be stable coins. If you borrow MSOL, basically what you're doing there is you're taking on a leveraged yield farming position, because when you want to close your position, you have to return whatever you borrowed. So if you borrowed MSOL, you just have to return MSOL. If you borrow USDC, you have to return USDC. But we'll be borrowing the USDC and converting it into MSOL, and in that way we're getting a leveraged long position. So you borrow the USDC and then you swap that USDC for $50 worth of MSOL. So effectively what you've done there, you've turned $100 into a $150 MSOL long position. So you've got effectively a 1.5x leveraged position here. So you could theoretically get a loan up to 75% of the collateral that you supplied, but you also put yourself at risk of liquidation. By borrowing only 50% of my collateral deposited, I give myself a bit of a buffer there. So MSOL would need to go down 33% for me to get liquidated for that particular loan. So I'm going to go through 2 scenarios and what might happen in each of those scenarios. So we'll take scenario 1, for example, in which MSOL goes up 30%. So your $150 then turns into $195. But remember, you borrowed 50 USDC from Port Finance and they want that 50 USDC back. So you're going to have to minus that off of your $195, leaving you with $145. And remember, you deposited $100 and now you've got $145. So your profit is $45 versus $30 if you had just held MSOL. So that's the 1.5x leverage coming into play there. But let's take a look at another scenario here where the price of MSOL goes down 20%. So this $150 that you had is now turns into 120. And remember, you need to still pay back Port Finance for those 50 USDC that you borrowed. And now you're left with $70. So in this scenario, you lost $30 versus losing only $20 if you were just spot long MSOL. In this scenario, you lost more money because you were leveraged up. So, that's one thing that you always have to, worry about, is that, we are using crypto, and in crypto is very volatile, and it's like you're trading with leverage anyway. But to have additional leverage on top of that means that you could incur greater losses. So, in crypto, anything can happen. Coins regularly have a 20-30% down day, so you do have risk of liquidation if you're using too much leverage. But I'll just show you how to actually go ahead and execute this particular strategy on Port Finance. So we deposit all of my MSOL. So I'm going to crank this all the way up to 100%. So there we go. So that deposited amount was roughly $100. And then the next step is to borrow some USDC. So I'm going to need to go to the borrow tab, and then I will press here. And let me just type in 50. Just press confirm. And then the next step after this is to go to a DEX and then swap that USDC out for MSOL. So I've got that USDC in my pocket. I'm going to swap that out into MSOL. And then after that, I'm going to be depositing the MSOL back into Port Finance, because if I do so, what it means is that I have a larger buffer for when I get liquidated. So instead of having MSOL having to only go down 33%, it might have to go down 40-45%. And so there we go. I've turned my $100 worth of MSOL into $150 worth of MSOL. So I am now effectively 1.5x leveraged long. So remember that you can do this method on any money market here on Solana. In fact, other money markets will offer the ability to go leverage long other tokens, like Apricot Finance will allow you to go leverage long Orca, for example. So just go ahead and make sure to check all of them out if you wanted to get along a particular token, and they offer different rates, especially on the deposit and borrow APYs. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.